The Real Housewives franchise has long been celebrated as a cultural phenomenon, originally conceived to highlight sophistication, wealth, and the empowerment of women making a tangible impact on their communities. It promised a behind-the-scenes look at lives brimming with ambition, elegance, and influence, a glimpse into worlds where the finest champagne flowed freely, designer wardrobes were standard, and soirees were as meticulously curated as the lives of those who attended them. The appeal was clear. Viewers weren't just tuning in to watch women live lavishly. They were witnessing ambition, social maneuvering, and personalities navigating the delicate balance of public perception and private reality. In many ways, the franchise has functioned almost like a social commentary, providing insight into the intersection of money, power, and identity, while still delivering drama and entertainment in equal measure. However, over the years, certain iterations of the franchise have strayed considerably from that original blueprint. The Real Housewives of Potomac, in particular, has morphed into a very different spectacle, one that could barely be described as glamorous. Where viewers once expected scenes of champagne flutes clinking in sunlit verandas and elegant conversations over five-course meals, they are now met with messy hairstyles, shoes that seem entirely unsuitable for public outings, and an almost constant swirl of personal conflict. More astonishingly, the show has developed a reputation for featuring participants whose off-screen lives include run-ins with the law, transforming the franchise from a showcase of aspiration into something closer to tabloid theater. This shift is striking not merely for its sensationalism, but because it reveals a cultural tension between the fantasy of wealth and the reality of behavior, responsibility, and the often messy consequences of life under public scrutiny. In the past year alone, 3 of the women featured on The Real Housewives of Potomac have ended up behind bars, each due to their own ill-advised choices. The circumstances vary, but the underlying theme is striking. When appearances, status, and self-promotion dominate, the line between entertainment and genuine personal accountability becomes perilously thin. Yet, before diving headlong into the scandalous arrests and headline-making incidents, it is worthwhile to pause and examine the story of Mia Thornton, whose journey exemplifies the complicated interplay of wealth, personal decisions, and public perception. Mia Thornton's narrative is particularly compelling because it is layered with contradictions, surprises, and cautionary lessons. At one point, Mia was married to Gordon Thornton, a man of considerable wealth whose name carried weight in both social and financial circles. Gordon represented stability, opportunity, and a level of societal privilege that many could only dream of. Yet, despite the apparent security and social cachet that accompanied this marriage, Mia's life took a sharp and unexpected turn. She found herself romantically entangled with a former high school flame, a person from her past whose presence reawakened old emotions and desires. This rekindled romance did more than complicate her personal life. It set into motion a chain of events that would have lasting consequences for her reputation, her social standing, and her public persona. The allure of past connections is a universal theme, but in Mia's case, it intersected with fame and wealth in a uniquely dramatic way. The stakes were far higher than a private affair. The dynamics of her personal relationships were amplified by public scrutiny. Her choices became fodder for speculation, judgment, and, eventually, national attention. It is worth reflecting on the psychological pressures at play here. Being married to someone wealthy and socially prominent can create an almost suffocating environment where personal desires and societal expectations collide. The temptation to revisit past passions, particularly when one's current life feels constrained or performative, is understandable, though not necessarily defensible. In Mia's story, the old high school flame was not merely a nostalgic curiosity. It became a catalyst that disrupted a previously structured and privileged existence. To fully understand the impact of Mia's choices, one must consider the broader social context in which the Real Housewives franchise operates. These shows thrive on tension, conflict, and high-stakes drama. Relationships are constantly scrutinized, reputations are constantly built and dismantled, and viewers develop intense, often polarized opinions about the cast members' decisions. In this environment, A personal choice like rekindling a romance is not contained to the private sphere. It becomes a public spectacle. Every phone call, text message, and social interaction is a potential storyline. The consequences are magnified because of the visibility that the platform provides. For Mia, what might have been a private lapse in judgment became a narrative thread that defined her public image for months, if not years. Moreover, her story illuminates a broader theme that is often overlooked in discussions about reality television: the interplay between financial security and personal accountability. Being married to a wealthy individual like Gordon Thornton provided Mia with opportunities, social leverage, and a lifestyle many envy. Yet, wealth alone does not insulate one from mistakes or poor decisions. Indeed, in some cases, it may exacerbate them, creating a sense of invincibility or detachment from real-world consequences. Mia's affair and the subsequent fallout demonstrates that social capital and financial resources can only carry someone so far when the personal decisions they make collide with ethical, legal, and societal norms. It is also important to note the human dimension of Mia's story. While headlines may frame her as scandalous or reckless, her experiences are also emblematic of very real emotional struggles. Relationships are complex, and the tension between desire, obligation, and self-expression is universal. Mia's entanglement with her former high school love reflects a fundamental human conflict: the pursuit of personal happiness versus the demands of social and marital expectations. In this sense, her story resonates beyond reality TV gossip. It touches on themes of identity, autonomy, and the consequences of choices made under pressure, observation, and scrutiny. Finally, Mia Thornton's narrative serves as a lens through which we can examine the changing nature of the Real Housewives franchise itself. Once a platform intended to showcase wealth and influence in positive, aspirational terms, it has increasingly become a stage where personal drama, public scandals, and legal entanglements dominate. Mia's story encapsulates this evolution. Wealth, privilege, and opportunity are ever present, but they coexist with risk, human error, and the potential for public embarrassment. Her journey reminds viewers that behind the curated outfits, glamorous settings, and camera-ready smiles, there are real people making real decisions with tangible consequences. In summary, the tale of Mia Thornton is emblematic of a larger shift in reality television, from aspirational storytelling to spectacle-driven drama. It illustrates the tension between wealth and behavior, privacy and publicity, and personal choice versus public consequence. As viewers, it invites reflection not just on the allure of fame, but on the vulnerabilities and pressures that come with it. Mia's experience, married to a wealthy man, yet drawn to an old flame and navigating the consequences under the public eye, offers both a cautionary tale and a deeply human story about desire, ambition, and the complex paths that define modern social life. When Gordon Thornton finally went public about Mia's affair, keep in mind he's older and had his own personal challenges to manage. Mia didn't stay silent. Instead, she fired back in her own unapologetic way, making sure her side of the story was heard loud and clear. After Gordon Thornton went public about Mia Thornton's affair, yes, he uncovered all the incriminating phone records. Mia didn't waste time. She filed for divorce, effectively cutting ties with her past life. Ironically, Gordon's wealth and influence had given her the platform she enjoys today, yet she had already started a complicated side romance with a radio personality from Atlanta named Incognito, or Inc. Their on and off relationship overlapped with her marriage, adding yet another twist to her story. Eventually, Mia joined the Real Housewives of Batowick, though her time on the show was short-lived. This is hardly unusual. Most women on these reality shows carry some form of personal baggage. Take the latest scandal involving Wendy Ofo, for example. She's a highly educated woman, a PhD in political science, but she and her husband were recently arrested for large-scale fraud. This pattern highlights a striking truth about reality TV. Many cast members flaunt wealth that isn't real. While they may appear affluent, few have stable, recurring income. Their businesses are often superficial: lingerie lines, clothing brands, or vague real estate ventures. Fame and sponsored posts on social media become their primary revenue streams. Naturally, when they portray themselves as wealthy, they feel compelled to live up to that image, which fuels extravagant spending and risky behavior. Mia Thornton, observing this cycle firsthand, wasn't shy about mocking Wendy Ofo on TikTok. She joked about the revolving door of trouble these women experience. Just got out of jail. Now, Wendy's going in. What the hell? Are we taking turns over here? Not my part. She even quipped that she'd rather return to her strip club days to make her money honestly than fall into the same trap. Unfortunately, Wendy's legal troubles were serious. Authorities cited an $11,000 theft of furniture from an apartment, including a TV, which led to her arrest. Fans began calling the cast members the Real Housewives of Prison or the Real Housewives of Jail, a nickname that reflects both their misfortune and the public's fascination with their downfall. Whether it's an attempt to regain fame or simply financial desperation, these incidents reveal a deeper pattern of instability. For men observing these women, there's a lesson to be learned. Many glamorous women on Instagram or reality TV may look successful, but appearances can be deceiving. Without reliable, recurring income, financial hardship often follows, no matter how luxurious their lifestyle seems. When money comes in large, irregular bursts and is spent just as quickly, bills pile up, stress rises, and risky behavior becomes more likely. Yet admirers often fail to see this side of the story, chasing surface-level appeal without understanding the underlying instability. Ultimately, the world of reality TV and social media glamour can be cloud-based at best, a floating illusion of wealth and success. For those who don't develop real skills or consistent income, life can quickly shift from glossy Instagram posts to legal troubles and financial hardship. When your whole image is built on clout and cloud-based fame, without any real financial foundation, trouble is almost inevitable. As soon as a payout hits, it's gone, spent just as quickly as it arrived. What drives them isn't stability, savings, or even long-term security. It's views, clicks, likes, and being the center of attention. Their focus is on staying relevant, on keeping their name circulating, even if it means leaning on or taking advantage of someone else who's struggling financially. For men watching this unfold, the lessons extend far beyond mere entertainment. There is a clear set of principles to observe if you hope to avoid the pitfalls that appear so vividly on these reality television stages. The first, and perhaps most important, is the art of patience and restraint. When you witness the cycles of drama, betrayal, and financial mismanagement that seem to define the lives of certain women on shows like The Real Housewives of Potomac, it's easy to become frustrated or even disillusioned. But frustration often clouds judgment. Anger, impatience, or the desire to fix someone else's life is not only futile, it can be dangerous. Some situations are better left observed from a distance, and some people are best understood as cautionary examples rather than potential partners. Take Mia Thornton, for instance. From the outside, her life might appear glamorous. Former marriages to wealthy men, appearances on a national television franchise, and the public spotlight that accompanies any degree of celebrity. But behind the camera, the reality is starkly different. Mia is what many would call down bad, financially unstable, living a lifestyle predicated largely on appearances rather than sustainable income. Headlines surrounding her continue to make waves, and not for achievements in business or personal development, but for legal entanglements like the theft of $11,000 worth of furniture. At this point, she is likely in her 40s, an age when most people are expected to have built some measure of stability and independence. Yet, her story demonstrates a recurring theme among certain reality TV personalities. Wealth, fame, and visibility do not automatically translate to financial wisdom, personal growth, or lasting security. This observation brings us to a critical principle for men and women alike. Appearances are deceptive. In the age of social media and reality television, it is all too easy to be seduced by the illusion of wealth and glamour. Instagram posts, luxury cars, designer outfits, and elaborate vacations create a curated narrative that suggests a level of stability, sophistication, and success that may not exist at all. Many of these women are cloud-based in their finances and personal narratives. Income is sporadic and often tied to fleeting trends, sponsored posts, brief promotional campaigns, or television appearances that offer one-time paychecks but no ongoing financial security. Without a strong foundation, a lifestyle built on such ephemeral sources is inherently unstable. Consider the psychology behind this behavior. Chasing clout and social validation creates a feedback loop in which self-worth becomes tied to external approval rather than intrinsic achievement. Every like, share, or view reinforces the importance of appearance over substance. Decisions are made not with long-term well-being in mind, but to maintain the perception of wealth, desirability, and relevance. For some, this manifests in reckless spending, poor relationship choices, and, in extreme cases, illegal activity. When you consistently prioritize perception over reality, the result is often chaos. Financial mismanagement, personal instability, and legal consequences become almost inevitable. From the perspective of men navigating relationships, or even those simply observing, there is an invaluable lesson here. Maintain clarity, patience, and discernment. Don't allow the spectacle of clout chasing and superficial allure to dictate your judgment. Recognize the difference between someone who has built sustainable success and someone who is perpetually playing rich. A key indicator is consistency. Are there verifiable sources of recurring income, investments, or professional achievements that demonstrate reliability? Or is the image maintained purely through social media posts, borrowed luxury, and fleeting fame? Observing these differences can prevent heartbreak, financial entanglement, or being caught up in legal fallout by association. Furthermore, the story of Mia Thornton underscores a broader societal lesson about the dangers of conflating fame with stability. Society has long rewarded visibility, charisma, and the ability to command attention. On reality television, this is amplified exponentially. Yet, fame without financial literacy or personal accountability is often unsustainable. The pattern is clear. Large, irregular inflows of money are spent as quickly as they arrive. Lifestyle inflation escalates to match a curated public image, and the lack of a safety net leaves individuals exposed when crises inevitably occur. Legal issues, relationship turmoil, and public humiliation are frequent outcomes, serving as cautionary tales for both viewers and potential partners. But it is not only about avoiding women who are down bad or financially unstable. This observation is applicable to anyone who prioritizes appearance over substance, whether male or female. The lesson is universal. Stability, financial literacy, personal growth, and emotional accountability matter far more than glamour, fleeting attention, or social validation. In the context of dating, partnerships, or professional collaboration, these qualities provide a much more reliable foundation than looks, fame, or superficial allure. For men in particular, there is also a strategic component, staying the course. This means cultivating patience, observing patterns rather than reacting impulsively, and understanding that personal growth and stability cannot be forced upon others. Some individuals are entrenched in cycles of drama, poor financial decision-making, and short-term gratification, and attempting to fix them is often a losing battle. Recognizing the limits of influence is a form of wisdom, and knowing when to step back protects one's own stability, resources, and emotional well-being. Additionally, this perspective sheds light on the allure of reality TV and social media culture itself. We are drawn to these stories because they are dramatic, colorful, and emotionally charged. Yet, the entertainment value can obscure the real-life consequences of decisions made under constant scrutiny and external pressure. Mia Thornton's legal troubles, headline-making affairs, and financial instability are all amplified because of her public platform, but similar patterns exist for many individuals outside the spotlight. Wealth without literacy, attention without accountability, and visibility without personal responsibility often lead to comparable outcomes. Ultimately, this is a cautionary tale about the intersection of human behavior, societal expectations, and financial reality. Glamour without substance, fame without financial literacy, and the relentless pursuit of social validation can result in embarrassment, legal trouble, and lasting personal consequences. The allure of appearance is fleeting, but the consequences of unsound decisions endure. For those navigating relationships, friendships, or business partnerships, the lesson is clear. Look beyond what is visible, value stability and integrity, and prioritize substance over flash. In conclusion, observing the rise and fall of figures like Mia Thornton provides more than gossip. It offers a roadmap for discernment in a world saturated with curated images of success. It emphasizes the importance of patience, the wisdom of maintaining distance when necessary, and the critical role of financial literacy and personal accountability. Fame, glamour, and social media validation are seductive, but they are no substitute for real wealth, real security, and real character. Men, and indeed anyone observing these dynamics, would be wise to internalize these lessons, stay grounded, invest in stability, and keep your pursuits aligned with long-term value rather than short-term appearances. And with that, it's a reminder to all who watch, analyze, or participate in these cultural spectacles. Fame and flash are entertaining, but substance and stability endure. Stay wise, stay grounded, and above all, keep your dollar and your life real.